The first trailer for Unicorn Overlord almost holds its head a bit too high.
Atlus and Vanillaware present the rebirth of tactical fantasy RPGs.
It's clear that there is confidence radiating from Vanillaware on their 10-year project. And they even gave us a meaty 7-hour demo to taste test, so to speak.
The Earth may be theirs, but the heavens will surely favor those who stand for justice.
You'll likely know developer Vanillaware from 13 Sentinels a few years ago, a game that tossed and turned you with a riveting and complex narrative. In that case, the focus was on the story of the game. Combat took a back seat to an otherwise stellar presentation of a story. Unicorn Overlord is not exactly the same. While I am hoping for an awesome narrative, I'm not expecting the game to blow me away the same way. Instead, the focus lies in the gameplay. Strategy RPGs go through a lot of forms, whether it's XCOM, Mario Rabbids, Final Fantasy Tactics, Fire Emblem, Ogre Tactics. There are tons of variations when it comes to this genre. And what this game allegedly aims to be is the rebirth of tactical RPGs. That's some big shoes to fill. And can Vanillaware really pull that off?
Look who's playing hero.
One of the core parts of any SRPG is probably how the game works. You need to have different mechanics that work in conjunction on top of being able to be very customizable with how your units interact with a lot of things around them. Whether you can control their placement or how they fight, there's a lot of variables that have to be present so that it feels strategic. It's a very complex genre of games. There's a reason why something like Persona is not considered an SRPG, despite being mildly strategic. You start each battle with a base. From that base you can deploy your teams, each of which is made up of 1 to 6 units. Each unit has their own class. You can position them on a 2x3 grid, which affects how attacks will hit them and the role they play in combat. Now you can issue each team commands. They'll move forward towards their objective. If they come into contact with an enemy, they'll initiate a battle. You can't back out of the battle once you come into contact with another team. Then in battle, you can see each action play out with each character using passive and active skills until all units have run out of skill points. Not to mention, you can also issue specific tactics to your units to follow in battle. Also, make sure to watch out for structures that your enemies and you can use to assist from a distance. And remember to make sure your teams don't run out of stamina or else they'll be a sitting duck. It's very overwhelming. Probably isn't even half of the battle mechanics that you learn. To be frank, this game is boatloaded with information and tutorials. The 7 hours I had in the demo were barely enough to grasp an understanding of the battle system. That being said, this game is a lot of fun. I love how intricately designed everything in the battle system feels. Mixing and matching characters to create well-balanced teams is honestly pretty fun. You can also do mock battles to test your comps, which I think is something I'll be using a lot more as I progress into harder and harder battles. You can also get into some smaller skirmishes on the map. If you walk into an oppressed area, enemies will chase you down the moment you go in. If you can defeat them in full, they disappear. If you can't, then they just get a momentary stun so you can run away. At its core, the system is very complex. There's no good way to determine if that's a good thing or a bad thing for me. I love the potential it has, being that it's very customizable, so much so that you can tell a unit to use a specific attack on a specific enemy at a specific situation. This game has so much potential to be good, but right now it's difficult to tell if the systems and layers to the combat are a good thing or a bad thing.
Anxiety will be the death of you if you keep it bottled up like that.
As usual, this title sports Vanillaware's signature art style. It's not exactly the same, but it's pretty obviously them. Regardless, this game looks as good as ever. It's not flashy with its visuals, but it doesn't skimp on making everything look good. In conversations, the game has these full-body sprites that have Vanillaware's signature look. Meanwhile, the outside, the game focuses on neat sprite work, which gives it a certain charm. It's really reminiscent of other SRPGs like Fire Emblem and FF Tactics. The only gripe I have is that the sprites are colored based on team color instead of what the actual character sprites look like. But it's not a deal breaker because that's almost 100% for visual clarity. The game isn't really trying to knock your socks off visually though. There aren't big flashy anime moves or incredibly intricate animations. The game seems to be more simplistic in that regard, which is fine. It's likely trying to keep itself grounded. More medieval and less fantasy. Kind of.
Is that why you and Lex spent all your days banging swords?
The story itself is pretty simple. Your main character, Elaine, is a prince who is forced to abandon his home while an enemy kingdom seeks to conquer the lands. Several years later is where the story really starts. You play as Elaine leading the Liberation Army across the world, trying to liberate the world from the Zenorian army. I probably butchered that, I don't remember how to pronounce it. I'm pretty sure you can progress the story a bit in the demo, but I didn't really progress that much. I was mainly focused on liberating side areas and completing side quests, which is another piece of the narrative. Liberating side areas can gain you new allies, and sometimes you'll also be given the option to execute or spare a character. In some cases, if you spare them, they'll join you. In other cases, they'll allude to potentially assisting you in the future. This will likely play into other side missions and narratives in the future, but we've yet to see what it means for some of these characters. I don't have much of an opinion formed on the story yet, but it's not the main focus of the game. The complexity is definitely more in the battles, so don't expect some 13 Sentinels level of twists and turns. In truth, I'm quite excited by what Unicorn Overlord could be. I think the demo helped me grasp an understanding of this game and set up my expectations. While I'm not someone who really loves SRPGs, I do have hopes for this game. But truly, if any of what I said interested you, there's a demo available on all systems it's launching on. Sorry PC, I hope you get it one day too. And let me know your thoughts on Unicorn Overlord as well. Have you tried the demo, or not? Let me know in the comments. As always, you can leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe to the channel for more things JRPG related. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. I'm dead as fuck, boys. Yeah.